How's it going, everybody? It's John Little Fox. This is my channel where I talk about anime, video games, cartoons, most notably Sonic and Ninja Turtles. And today I am doing a live stream. I know it's a little bit of a surprise. I kind of had this on the back of my head that I wanted to do a live stream today, but I wanted to do it a little bit earlier because you know how this tends to go when I do it later. Then we're going to be pushing past midnight, and I can definitely see this happening. So you know how it is. But I mean, I just figured might as well, anyways, right? Um, one of my family members had stepped out of town. Nothing crazy happened, but she stepped out of town and stuff, visiting Arkansas right now. So that's pretty cool. So pretty much, me and another one of my relatives and stuff, we pretty much got the house together and all that stuff. So she's just upstairs chilling. I'm downstairs doing this live stream and stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So I figure, you know what, this would be an interesting time to just, just talk or whatever, do a little live stream, you know how it is. Give you some updates and stuff, what's going on. Maybe do a little drawing and all that stuff as the stream is titled, Draw Stream. I also titled it Reacting to the Fighters Day content. I'm going to explain who that is in a second. Yeah, yeah. So how you guys doing tonight and stuff? It's Friday, so you know how it is. Had some McDonald's earlier, still have some fries, of course. So I always usually save it for later because of versus eating it all at once because I always get a large meal and I'm like, I like these fries, but I gotta save it for later. And then I'll just put in like the air fryer or something to like, so it can actually, come out a little bit more better whenever I want to reheat it and all that. But yeah, my morning, my day wasn't bad. Excuse me, I had to do a little bit of a assignment for somebody, which was pretty cool, um, but also kind of a little exhausting too at the same time. But it gave me something to do today. I basically early in the morning. Um, I always get up early anyways, but I left around like 9 and stuff to like go, you know, do this thing and stuff. But the whole thing was like, I'm just speaking like this because I don't want to like give away what exactly it is and all this other stuff. I don't know if it's confidential, but I'm just gonna keep it like this. But I drove like an hour to get to this location and stuff, and I'm like, well, because yesterday he kind of sort of wanted me to do it, but I had to work that day, so I was like, all right, well, maybe I'll probably just do it tomorrow, well, which is today, and I'll just like just get it done where I'm like have all that energy. I felt like that was probably the smarter move. Well, sort of, but to a degree, it felt more convenient for me at least because at least I had some energy to do all this today compared to like yesterday where I just got off of work because it took me like a whole 3 hours today, maybe even four to kind of get this done, and I had to do a lot of driving. I'm like, wow, but it was really something. So I drove all the way to this one place, took an hour or whatever, and all that, and then I had to drive to like four other locations and stuff within that vicinity to do this thing or whatever. So at least that got done and over with, and then I had to drive another hour back. So it was like, yeah, like I said, the whole thing took me like 3 hours to probably get it done. So maybe even almost four, because like I said, I left around 9, and then really I didn't get back home until like 2. But yeah, like I said, it is what it is. But like I said, something that kept me a little busy and stuff. Other than that, not too much is happening. I know I talked about I had a family dog in the last stream and stuff. Still do. She's not here right now. She is chilling over a friend's house and stuff. They got her spayed. Well, my family member got her spayed and stuff. Her owner. Um, so that's kind of sad to hear a little bit. I'm like, oh, because I mean, I don't know. I'm just like when I like I was the first time I've ever like heard the term of it. And I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I never want to really do that to like a living creature to take away their ability to have children. Kind of sucks, but I get it though. But anyways, but she's chilling, and there's another dog over there too, so they're hanging out and stuff. But I'm like, okay, that makes plenty of sense why you had it done sooner rather than later. So yeah. So, but anyways, all is good. Yo, what's happening? Fierce sympathetic Black Queen Taylor, how you doing tonight? Doing a little bit of a live stream, getting it a little started. and everything. Hopefully this doesn't really like take all night, but well, I got a lot of stuff that I had planned, or not planned, but well, I didn't really plan this, but a lot of stuff that I want to just knock out. But yeah, um, the videos I posted this week was like me recording off my TV about the Superman behind the scenes stuff, because I just really like I recently just got done. I can't speak. I recently got done rewatching Superman the animated series because I own the entire series now on Blu-ray that I got from a Comic Con a few months ago. So I finally finished up the rewatching the series again, and I really do like Superman the animated series. I really feel like it's a very underrated show. I mean, of course, it's the best Superman cartoon because yeah, there's not really much competition apart from the Max Fleischer things, which is well animated, by the way. And then, of course, the Ruby Spears Superman, which not a lot of people really know about. And then, of course, Superman the animated series, and then a lot of the other Superman adjacent shows like Legions of Superheroes, Superman the Superdog, and then some of the modern crap that we got like My Adventures Superman. But yeah, yeah, but I got done like rewatching that, and you know how I love DVDs and how they always have those little extras and stuff on there. So that's why I wanted to I was like, man, I feel like some people just need to hear this, and maybe this might inspire somebody. Maybe this probably might give some people the general idea of what Superman really is all about compared to like what we've been getting from stuff like My Adventures Superman or James Gunn's Superman. You know how it is. But anyways, let me see what you're talking about, Taylor. Finished watching Band of Brothers. Damn, great show. Missed old times though. Nice. I'm good. Did you say it was good or bad? Finished and you watched Band of Oh yeah, you said it was a great show. Yeah, that's pretty nice. But yeah, so that's why I posted. I have one more that I wanted to post, but that'll probably come later because they got copyright struck. Which I'm surprised. Like, well, I definitely had to do some edits with some of those videos where they're like, oh, well, you can't use this sound or whatever for some apparent reason because YouTube. So, anyways, the next one I have coming up, um, it's under review right now for copyright, so that might take maybe 25 days or something like that from now. Um, that was one of the first videos I wanted to put out, but since I had to do all that, I was like, all right, well, let me submit an appeal first because I could make it public, but I don't think it's going to get a lot of views like my other videos. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just wait until it gets appealed or whatever, or if I had to make any changes or whatever to it, then so be it. But yeah, so expect that next month though. It'll just drop whenever, but I think you guys might get a kick out of that one if you definitely enjoyed the the Superman villains one. Like I really appreciate it. You guys liking up that video and the viewership they got because they got like 1,300K. Did not even expect all that. I mean, I knew it was definitely going to like do some kind of numbers, but man, that was pretty cool. Like, thank you, you guys. I really do appreciate that. And then, of course, the follow-up video wasn't as popular, but I mean, hey, I can take what I can get. If it is like past 50 something views at least, you know what I'm saying? I'm always satisfied by it. Copyright is a bitch. Yes, it is. Copyright is definitely a bitch. And definitely the whole management of YouTube and stuff in itself is a bitch as well. But that's neither here nor there. At least I'm on this platform and I'm at least, talking about stuff that I like or whatever, and I just consume it. So yeah, it's kind of a abusive situation, if you will. But anyways, yep. So what else do I got going on? So yeah, like I said, thank you again, you guys. I have some video ideas and stuff that's coming up. What's up? What's up, Steven? Been binge watching Ben 10 since it's getting removed from Netflix. Jesus, it is. Well, I mean, I shouldn't even be surprised, honestly, because they do like Netflix, HBO Max, Amazon, all that stuff. They always be like, "Oh, this is leaving the platform soon." Like a few weeks ago, I was just watching Conan the Barbarian for the first time with Arnold Schwarzenegger because I've never seen none of those movies, and like I was like, you know what? Let me just watch them real quick before they disappear from the platform. And I really did enjoy those movies. They were pretty good. I didn't like. I see that they got like average reviews. I'm like, man, I wish movies can go back to being like this. I really do enjoy it. But yeah, But Ben 10 though, yeah, Ben 10, that's a classic one. Um, I really need to get back to watching Generator Rex though. That's what I need to do. That's definitely a very classic, like a very classic, you know. But yeah, but Ben 10, yeah, I think I rewatched the original a few years ago, like 2 years ago or something. It was definitely nice, you know. Personally, myself, I always kind of preferred Alien Force because I just love the growth and the development with the characters like Kevin and Ben and stuff, you know. And just just a lot more how they can expand upon that. But I'm just surprised, like when I got online and stuff, how a lot of people love the classic a lot more. I was like, wow, really? But don't get me wrong, I got into Ben 10 because of the classic stuff. I really love that show too. Um, Ben 10 was definitely like one of the most creative like shows or cartoons and stuff like back then when I was like growing up. I was like, wow, this kid can become like 10 different superheroes or aliens and stuff at a time. That sounds awesome. Like, like we need creativity like that back again, you know? Speaking of Band of Brothers, I heard James Gunn's going to make Sergeant Rock. As he, I don't know how that goes. I'm very skeptical with my opinion. I think he wanted to do Sergeant Rock, but he can't do it or whatever because I guess they like I don't know. He wanted to do it, but they told him no, that he can't do it. Which to me that sounds pointless because I'm like, well, who's asking for a Sergeant Rock movie? I don't even know. Like I said, I don't even know Sergeant Rock like that, nor do I really care enough to like want to read and get invested about the character. And it just seems like you're kind of like doing everything else that doesn't like things that happen inside the superhero universe that has nothing to do with the superheroes. Like, oh, let's do Peacemaker, even though he's not. Well, he's sort of a superhero, but whatever. Let's do Vigilante. Sort of okay. He's a superhero. Fine. Guardians of the Galaxy from Marvel Comics. I wouldn't really say like. I mean, yeah, they're a superhero team, but it's not my ideal of like superheroes. You know what I'm saying? Netflix is going to remove our classic cartoons from our childhood. Yeah, yeah, that's why I'm always like, getting DVDs and stuff. Because I mean, I don't know, it's a nostalgia thing, but I always love DVDs more so than streaming services and stuff like that. But that's because I always have something to reflect back on it and stuff like that, or look at the behind the scenes or whatever stuff like that, or I have control over it. You know what I'm saying? So it's always good to just get DVDs and have something to play it on. Luckily for me, I have things like my PS2, I have my PS4, my Xbox 360 is over at my mom's house in another state. So all that stuff. Trust me, I never knew about Sergeant Rock. By the way, I knew a comic, his very old comics. Yeah, I think he's like a very old character, like maybe a somewhat of a golden, maybe even a Bronze Age type character, I think. But yeah, I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom real quick, so I'll just put this on mute. This shouldn't take but like, give me like 2 minutes. Okay, I am back. for me, I'm a World War II person in history because of Band of Brothers, where my dad watched it. I had half dads about Wonder Woman. I mean, I said Wonder Woman. My bad. World War II. I was making a comic of Flock 44 that World War II steampunk, or I guess you mean steampunk, fantasy world. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, I guess I kind of noticed Taylor because you like to talk about documentaries and stuff like that sometimes about old World War, old, I can't speak, old war type movies and stuff like that. But yeah, but that's pretty cool. Reminds me of like now all of a sudden I'm thinking about that one game Metal Gear Slug. Yeah, classic. So, anyways, I have some video ideas that's coming up. First off, I think I spoke a little bit about this or I teased it, but I'm just going to tell you straight up. And maybe I might post the video, like I might have the video done by tomorrow, and I might be able to post it maybe Sunday. But I'm going to do a character analysis about Spike from X-Men Evolution and stuff. So expect that coming soon. Underrated character, definitely should probably come back. Maybe he should probably be brought into mainstream. I'm not just saying that because he's just a black character. I'm just saying that because, that is a character you probably could do something with, something fresh and new for the X-Men, but that's just my opinion. You'll definitely check out the video when I put it out there. I finished recording the audio for it, but I need to get some clips and I need to do a drawing because I might include some of my drawings in there. Do a time lapse video of Spike. I have one already, but I want another one, so you'll be probably seeing that soon. And then another video idea that I had in mind was I was going to do one about Tim Drake. Tim Drake, aka the Third Robin, and stuff. Really, I was going to talk about Tim Drake and how I feel like DC doesn't really like the character or Jason Todd because if you notice in like a lot of the animated stuff, which is weird, like because Tim Drake, I could kind of see to a degree why they might leave him out or why he's sort of kind of in an awkward like placement where he's in the middle where you have Dick Grayson who's the first Robin, of course, everything's going to go to him or Batman or whatever, and then you have Damian Wayne who's the current Robin and he's the son of Batman, so it only makes sense that okay, they're going to use him more and stuff, right? But Tim Drake, it's kind of weird that they're not using him, or it's terrible that they're not using him. But Jason Todd, I'm like, how are you not using Jason Todd either? Well, not as Robin, but as Red Hood. I'm like, man, Jason Todd, like he has a fan base and stuff where, like he's like the Punisher, like Jason Todd, he kills criminals and stuff. He has his own comics, Red Hood and the Outlaws, all that other stuff. So it's like, huh, you would think that DC would want to capitalize on that, I'm just saying that would be definitely very smart. But anyways, but I'll save it for another time. I need to write the script and everything, but that's just an idea I have in mind for that one. Then what else do I got? Let's see. I guess I could probably talk about this real quick. I won't spend too long on this subject matter, but Sonic Rush just made a video about Laurie Hughes again. So if you guys don't remember Laurie Hughes used to be like a little bit of an internet rival of mine. Years ago, back around the start of the 2020s and stuff. We used to go back and forth on all that because, we're both Sonic fans and we have, I guess, conflicting ideologies or conflicting preferences of what we like about Sonic as a character. So like he likes the Sadie M stuff and he likes Sally Acorn and prefers her to be the love interest of Sonic. I don't mind that. I don't hate it. I know there are definitely like people that definitely like, that is their preference and I'm not going to knock it. But for me, I'm the complete opposite where I prefer the games because I got into Sonic because of the games. And I'm more of a fan of Amy than I am of Sally. And I would prefer Amy to actually end up with Sonic and stuff more so than Sally because I just think Amy's a better character and she's just a lot more loyal than everything. But I've already talked about that before. But I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. So me and Laurie used to like go back and forth over that. And especially like with Laurie, he used to be like very like hard headed and very like, I don't know, just bashful on people. How's it going, Ashes? I see you right there. how's your day going? Not night, like mine, because right now it's 10:02 for me. So I'm assuming it's probably 10:02 a.m. So good morning over there in Russia. But anyways, yeah. So me and Laura used to have like conflicting things, and Laura used to be like just bashing on people that just believe in anything different from his own beliefs and stuff. And I'm like, Jesus, dude. So I'm not gonna lie, I was a little petty and stuff. Okay, I was pretty damn petty and stuff, where I was like going on him and stuff like that when I probably shouldn't have. Should have just left it alone, whatever. But hey, it was fun for a while. Then eventually, I kind of was like, all right, well, I already talked my mess, and it feels like we're going back in circles. So yes, it is 10:02 in here. Nice. But yeah, felt like we were like going back and forth a lot. Well, I mean, of course we were, and I yeah, I enjoyed it. I love a little drama sometimes. But where was I at? But it just felt like we were just going back in circles. So it's like, all right, well, there's nothing more I can say here. I already said what I said. So, I let Larry get the last word. And then eventually his channel got deleted yet again. His DeviantArt channels always get deleted. His YouTube channels always get deleted. His X accounts always gets deleted. Like, this guy cannot manage social media to save his life, to be honest. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, so I just left it alone. And then of course when I heard about like stuff about him coming back after all these years and stuff, after they after Sonic Rush and another person named Taylor, not you, Fear Sympathetic Black Queen, obviously, but somebody else named Taylor had yeah, because Laura Hughes had did something. But you might have to check out Sonic Rush's video to get those full details. But basically, he was offline for quite a while, and then he started recently resurfacing. I don't know if he's really causing any trouble like that per se, but I just kind of just kept my distance because I'm like, look, this dude's already as bad as Chris Chan to some degree. So, and one of the downfalls about Chris Chan was that like Chris Chan, like a lot of people trolled him online to the point where, he became, the monster that they had created or whatever. So I just like let it be because there's just no point of like continuing to keep going on Larry. I can't say this man's name on Larry anymore because it's just like, yeah, well, let him live his life or whatever. And then he still, of course, cannot grow, progress, and he's still doing the same dumb stuff as always. Like, yeah, like some of the stuff in Sonic Rush's video where he's like, oh, he's doxing people again, or he's trying to dox people, making his friend feel all suicidal or whatever. I'm like, Jesus, that's pretty bad. And death threats, of course, as usual. Vulgar drawings of me killing this person and stuff like that. Yeah, that's appropriate. So yeah, on brand for Larry Hughes. And Larry is like what, I think 2 years younger than me. So he's about like what, 24, still a grown ass man doing all this stuff. And yes, I understand he's a little bit he's autistic, but even then there's a limitation when it comes to autism with how much stuff you can really get away with though. So yeah, Christian is a curse, man, if his own downfall. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Christian is also like, he's a freaking weirdo too. Like, well, he's a big weirdo, big time weirdo, man. I would not allow any kids around him. I mean, it's not like but I'm just saying like, no, like now hide your wives, hide your kids, hide everybody from Christian. Like, nah, that's how I feel. But anyways, yeah, so Sonic Rush, I did a 3-hour thing about Larry, and some of that was like him on a call with Larry and stuff, which was hilarious. I'm like, dude, the next time you ever do a call with Larry like this, please, Josh, if you're hearing me say this, please get me on that line. Okay, me and Larry have never, like, despite us going back and forth online or making videos on each other, we have never actually like interacted, as in like, well, we might have in the comments, but we never interacted on like man, I'm just telling you right now, if we like was on a phone call together and stuff like that, it would probably be the greatest gladiator match ever. But I'm just exaggerating though. He'll probably just curse me out or whatever for all the things that I said about him and stuff like that, and I'll probably just be in the background laughing my butt off, being like, bro, stop it. But yeah, So that's something. So definitely check out Sonic Rush if you want to hear. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he didn't want to get me involved because he knows that I stayed away from all this because I just feel like, to a degree, I feel like some people are kind of being a little bit immature or like taking it too far and stuff, and just being like, all right, look, I get it. Larry has hurt people and stuff like that. He said a lot of things, but look, we gotta, we're better than this. We gotta move on. We gotta, not be on his level. That's how I personally feel, and that's why I just stepped away. I was like, I don't really talk much about the Larry Hughes subject, so that's just how I feel. But so now that that's done and out the way, I got some comics and stuff. When did I get these comics? I got these 2 days ago, actually, on Wednesday. I was hoping that they would put out that Street Fighter Masters Elena comic. I thought that was supposed to come out this week. So I was asking and calling around, and they were like, nope, it isn't out yet. And I was like, oh, man. Yeah, so in case you guys don't know, like Elena from Street Fighter and stuff, like in Street Fighter 6, they finally put Elena in the game. She missed out on Street Fighter 5. She was introduced inside Street Fighter 3, and then she was in Street Fighter 4. Then, like I just said, she missed out on Street Fighter 5, and now they're bringing her back into Street Fighter 6 with a new look. Elena is the capoeira. She's the African princess capoeira fighter inside Street Fighter, and probably one of the most outgoing and friendliest characters in the game. So I really do like the character, and she's one of my mains inside Street Fighter. So I think she's really cool. So yeah, and she does nothing but like use kicks and stuff. So I'm always using like kicks and stuff when it comes to like fighting games sometimes, or like jump kicks, fly kicks, or whatever. You know how it is. So that's just So yeah, but they're bringing my main back, so that's always fun. I mean, I have I have a few mains inside Street Fighter. Like of course, it's easy to use Ryu, so I use him. Of course, Sagat, Chun Li, Elena, sometimes Cammy. What's another main? Yeah, I know I'm usually using female characters and stuff. Main characters, but that's just on the top of my head. You've seen Smiling Friends? No, I have not. Fierce empathetic Black Queen. I have not seen Smiling Friends. I need to though. I've heard some things about it or seen some stuff, but I guess I need to like check it out. Jay Leno was, I think, the first person to tell me about it, and I was like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, have you guys checked out Smiling Friends? Like, we need to do a stream about it." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know about Smiling Friends yet, but I guess yeah, but it's the new like Adult Swim show or whatever." But yeah, but anyways, I am 27 minutes or almost 28 minutes into this now. Oh yeah, never mind. I was going to talk about the comics I got this week. So anyways, apart from that being a disappointment, that's coming out in November, so hopefully I'll get it in before it sells out. But I got the Jason Aaron TMNT run, the final issue of Jason Aaron's run and stuff of TMNT, issue number 12. A pretty interesting ending, or pretty interesting run in itself. I'm like, well, this is kind of what I want more of, to a degree, of like Ninja Turtles and stuff, compared to like what we've gotten before. So it's kind of a step in the right direction. I was kind of like a little bit on the fence about how okay, great, now we're going back to the family's dysfunctional again, and the brothers are fighting against amongst each other, and they just can't get it together, and all this other deconstruction stuff is going on. But luckily though, I mean, as I continue to keep reading more of the stories and stuff, and the more and more towards the end, as they started getting back together closer as brothers and stuff, I'm like, okay, this is definitely getting better. Maybe it's probably something we need compared to like the last run. So I definitely appreciate that a lot and stuff. I know Jason Aaron doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to comic books sometimes, because I know he wrote that Jane Foster Thor, which I think it was good for a while, but then it went on too long, and people just didn't like Jane Foster Thor because they're over pushing that character. So yeah, and then other stuff too. I guess I think he wrote Avengers, but that's neither here nor there. So now he's on TMNT. Well, he's off of TMNT now, but hopefully they get another good writer on board. I do not want it to go back to how it was that led to this getting rebooted and relaunched in the first place. So yeah, But basically, the Turtles have a confrontation with DA Hell and stuff, the district attorney that has a prejudice against mutants and stuff, and that basically he was working for Karai to sort of distract the Turtles for a while she's working on some magic, mystical mumbo jumbo type stuff. And then basically after he had failed Karai or whatever, Karai decided to punish him by turning him into some freaky chimera mutant demonic looking thing or whatever. And then he goes and attacks the turtles, and then the turtles fight him, beat him up, and they lock him up in a zoo. And then he gets trialed himself and all that after he had already gotten exposed for like working with the foot and then doing all this sabotage stuff to set up the turtles and all that, which that was a really great moment from Donatello in that court scene, because Donatello was like, all right, we've got no lawyer, all this stuff. And the turtles are like worried and stuff. And Donnie's like smiling, like, and he's looking like, and Donnie's like really skinny, like very anorexic looking. But he's like, yeah, like, oh God, man, this is not looking great. And then when everybody came through, like the civilians and stuff, like the citizens of New York came in and was like, nah, these turtles, leave them alone. They've been helping us out. They've been doing all this. The Foot Clan, these pseudo cops and stuff, they're the real problem. Everything. And I hope it's not a whole thing about police or whatever, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. A really cool moment in that story. So I definitely recommend checking it out if you guys are looking for TMNT stuff to like consume or to enjoy that stuff. I thought that was a pretty decent storyline and whatnot. And you know how I feel about like the Turtles being public, but I don't mind it per se, as long as you kind of like keep them, like you kind of keep some familiarity, kind of like let's say the '87 cartoon where the Turtles were publicly known, but they still kept to themselves. Though that's how I feel like they should still treat the Turtles, unless we do a fast forward thing where okay, maybe society is starting to change where they're starting to like combine their society or whatever with aliens and mutants and all that. Kind of like fast forward, but that's just how I personally feel. But anyways, so that was a nice read. And then today I just read the 30th anniversary of the Chaotix, and who knows, I might even do a review on that one too. But just talking about my experience or whatever with Teen Chaotix and just talking about this comic in itself, the references and all that. There's probably a lot of stuff that I probably can't talk about right now in this video because this video will be like super long. Or not super long, but like I said, I want to just cover it maybe by its own or whatever. But yeah. But it's a nice story, a nice little read. Basically, the Chaotix are recounting the time of when they handled one of their earliest cases where they had a run-in with some thief or whatever, basically, and then this, and how they were hired for a job and all this other stuff. But yeah, it was a pretty good comic and stuff. Played around with a lot of the art styles and stuff, or how like they were telling the flashbacks and all that. So I'm gonna talk about that later though. But the Teen Chaotix though, when it comes to Sonic, Teen Chaotix is probably the safest like characters and stuff that you just can't go wrong with. You just can't help but to love the Teen Chaotix. They're not like over the like they're not like super cool. They're not bad or anything. They're just kind of like, yeah, I love these guys. They're nice, or they're likable. But yeah, if IDW wants to bring up police and TMNT, they should use Casey being a cop's son, trying to become a detective, combining the 2003 and base TMNT sequel. I don't think his dad was a cop in the 2003 thing. He just ran a shop or whatever, and he wanted to tell the police about Hunt and stuff, trying to worm his way into like strong arming him and his business and stuff, and then Honey killed him off screen. But yeah, but I know what you mean though, Ashes. It could be interesting if Casey wanted to apply and become a detective. I'm not against it. I wasn't really against it when it happened inside Out of the Shadows. It was different, definitely, because Casey's supposed to be a vigilante. But oh well, I guess. But yeah. But anyways, yeah. And I remember when Stephen Amell was casting and stuff, and I was like, oh wow. And I don't hate the casting. I just wish that, like, man, you could have given him the long hair. Like, how he's on Arrow and stuff, and how they had him in the flashbacks. Like, I thought they were at least going to, like, they could have done that with his hair or something like that. Like give him the like how he has in the flashbacks or whatever. That's just my opinion though. And that would have looked like a sort of like a Casey Jones to a degree, or he would have looked more like Casey Jones than, but it was what it was with that one. So those are basically the comics that I have though, that I got this week. But yeah, and then like I said, I've been playing on my PS2 and all that stuff. So I've been playing Soul Calibur and whatnot. So I got Soul Calibur 3 maybe like a month or two ago. It could have been a little bit longer because I ran out of space on my memory card. So got a new memory card, and I got another game called Xenosaga as well. So I'm knocking all that stuff out the park. And I also got around the time when I got that Superman Blu-ray thing as well, I also got Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 on PS2 as well. So I was like, okay, well, I need to play all these games. But then, like I said, I ran out of space on my memory card, and I've been a little bit trying to focus on beating Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Finally beat Fighter Z. Now I'm moving on to some of the other games that I would probably want to beat or play. So Budokai 1, I just beat the story this week. Obviously, I already know what happens and all that stuff. It's Dragon Ball Z. Of course, I've seen Dragon Ball Z. But it's just fun playing it, though. Yeah, definitely like how they have the costumes and stuff. But maybe I'll probably talk about it another time. I'm not gonna go too deep on that. And then I've been playing some Soul Calibur 3, which I remember like when I like walked into the shop and I got that game. I didn't want anyone else to get it because I actually played Soul Calibur 3 like years ago, back when I was like around 11. Like I was 11 years old, so this is like 15 years ago actually. When I first learned the Soul Calibur, because I used to take a Taekwondo class. It was like an after-school program that I used to go to. And, back in the day, if we weren't doing anything like homework, or if we had homework done, and if we weren't doing our little martial arts stuff, we were probably either playing on the computers that we had, or, well, not we had, but the little program had, or we were probably like playing on our PS2, like not our PS2s, but they had two PS2 games that kind of keep us occupied or entertained and all that. So we'll play games like, and this is my introduction to stuff like Mortal Kombat. Yeah, that's right. Even at like 11 and stuff, they allowed us to play things like Mortal Kombat and stuff. I mean, they weren't crazy enough to let us, like, if we were on the computers and stuff, we weren't allowed to go to YouTube. We weren't allowed to go to like, what's his face, to Newgrounds. Oh yeah, Newgrounds and YouTube. Those two were definitely banned. And this is back in the day when YouTube was like, a little bit lenient on certain things before they started to crack down on us when it came to like what was posted and what's not posted. And then Newgrounds, didn't know what Newgrounds was like that because I never really been to it as a kid. But later on, when I left the program and I I was like, okay, I see why they didn't want us on Newgrounds then. But yeah, PS2 was peak. Yes, it was, and I have one, and I am enjoying the games that it comes on. What's happening, El Con Cole? How you doing tonight? I remember Paul said that he was supposed to be doing a stream tonight, but he was kind of a no-show. Gia Leno, I believe, is doing a stream, but I might have to miss it though. But stay tuned to it in case he's doing it if you want to check it out. But but Soul Calibur 3 was like one of the games that was on there. And I remember like playing that and stuff. I remember the characters and all that. And I was like, man, I love the designs of these characters. Like in Mortal Kombat, because we were playing Mortal Kombat like Armageddon on the PS2. We were playing like Soul Calibur 3. I love the designs of the characters, and maybe like they look like they have an interesting story that I might want to get invested into, stuff like that. So I definitely got that, and maybe they could probably be used as a reference to like maybe to help me out when it comes to like my art style and my drawing. I mean, my stories and stuff. Not to say I'm bad or anything, but just give me some ideas. Have I seen Smiling Friends? No, I have not. I have not seen Smiling Friends. Taylor, before you, El Conquest, asked me that prior. I have not seen Smiling Friends. I have been watching a little bit of Fiona and Cake and stuff. Yeah, that's right. I have seen some episodes of Fiona and Cake. I think I'm on episode 4, I think. And they just started a new season already. So, yeah. So I'm way behind anyways, but I'm just like, yeah. Um, why am I watching it? I don't know. Just out of curiosity, I just have to know. Um, yeah, of course, I used to watch Adventure Time when I was a kid, though, because Adventure Time, that and regular show used to be those shows back then. But after Adventure Time kind of ended, I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of done. And I know they did that Distance Land thing. Never really saw it. And from what I heard, I think something about Finn dying or whatever, or he was dead. I was like, oh, that's depressing. And then here we have Fiona and Cake, and I'm just curious, like, so how does that fit in with Finn and Jake? Like, because originally, if you watched Adventure Time, Fiona and Cake are supposed to be not just alternate realities of Finn and Jake, but they were just made up in fictional characters of the Ice King and all that from his storybook or whatever. So I was like, so how does that correlate? But I'll find out as I watch more of the show. I remember the Fallout Boy music video. That was clips of Smiling Friends. That was disturbing. Yeah, the show does kind of look like a little disturbing. Like I remember Classic D Man or Classic Man D. He was just talking about like there was this like somebody was asking who would win a fight between Ice Bear and Frogman or something like that, and it was like, yeah, this is a completely one sided fight. I was like, oh, because I actually used to watch a little bit of We Bear Bear, and I actually used to like that show. I never like really finished watching all of it, but I used to like the show. And Ice Bear was one of my favorite characters. He was just, I don't know, he was cool. Pun not intended. Princess Bubblegum was genuinely evil. Yes, she was. As I started to figure out after all these years, you just never really think about it as much. But then when you go back, you're like, wow, she definitely did do a lot of messed up things that I even think I just never really thought about. Wow. And honestly, and how her and Marceline got together, I'm like, you know what? She doesn't even deserve Marceline. Well, that crap that she done, I'm like, no, no, that's pretty evil. I'm like, that's pretty evil, man, and messed up. But anyways, but yeah, so um, I finished watching Dan. As far as what I've been watching, season one, that is. I have not even started season two yet. In the spirit of Halloween and the holidays and all that stuff, I did watch Devilman Crybaby. Now I already know, like, okay, let me tell you about Devilman real quick and my experience with it. So I was looking into Go Nagai a little bit and all that stuff. I'm not gonna go, I probably shouldn't even tell you all the details right now, but I've seen Devilman before. I've seen the '70s anime of Devilman. Yeah, that's right. I saw the '70s anime online and all that stuff. I've seen all the episodes for that one. I've seen the OVA of Devilman that came out, I believe, in the '80s and stuff. There's 3 OVAs of Devilman, beautiful animation and everything, very bloody, gory, etc. Very beautiful. Okay, I've seen all 3 of the OVAs. All right, so after the OVA and they left off on that ending and stuff like that, this ambiguous ending, I was kind of like, all right, let's see, was the '70s the one with the happy ending? Um, it was a happier ending compared to the other ones. I'm gonna say that, and it was different. Yo, what's happening, SSJ Namikaze? How you doing tonight, man? Hope you're having a good Friday. But no, I was just talking about Devilman. Yeah, I think the '70s Devilman ended on a positive note compared to like the other ones, and it's a little bit more drastically different. Like, it's drastically different compared to the other Devilman stuff because the other Devilman stuff is pretty consistent, where it's one story and all that, whereas the '70s one is about this demon named Amon. I think he possessed the dead body of this kid named Akira. I can't speak. Um, Akira Fudo and stuff, where he possessed his dead body or whatever, or he posed as him, and then blended into society or whatever, and fell in love with the girl Miki. It's kind of like your typical formulaic '70s type of show, just double men and stuff, and he fights the demon of the week and all that kind of thing. But it's not bad, it's not half bad if you can, if you like the '70s type of stuff or that type of format. But the OVAs was good and all that, but man, that third one destroyed my spirit, man. You mean disturbing Fallout Boys with Smiling Friends? I'm doing good. How are you doing? I'm doing good. Just chilling and stuff. Probably draw later. I know it's a little bit late, and I didn't exactly like. I I had this on the like I said, I've had this on the back of my head, but I never really like was like, all right, well, yeah, but we'll see how this goes. But anyways, back to what I was saying about Dome Man. So the third OVA, okay, the first two was good, as though I really loved the first two. Then the third one of how it ended and stuff just destroyed my spirit and stuff. I was like, oh my god. And I saw that too a few years ago on Halloween. Okay. And that ending just, I don't know, like just left me like, oh man, like destroyed my spirit. I was like, oh god. It was just, man, like it wasn't like, I can't, I was just like, wow, wow, that was a very depressing ending. Like his girlfriend, Mickey, like she was killed by an angry mob of humans and stuff. And her and her family, or her brother, had an arrow because they were associated with Akira, who got exposed for being a Devil Man or whatever. But yeah, it was a lot, and I was like, and then they decapitated her and put her head on a pike and all that. I was like, oh man, that is evil. And then later on, I saw a Devil Lady, but I'm not going to talk about Devil Lady too much right now. Then I read the manga to see like, okay, so is there more information in the manga? So I read the manga because they released two collections of Devilman, Volume 1 and Volume 2. That's the entirety of the story. So I read all those, like I read those two volumes, and I got more information of, okay, so I'm like, okay, everything's starting to line up, everything's parallel with what happened with the third OVA. And then I'm like, wow, it really ended like that. It really ended like that, where the main character died and got torn in half by Lucifer, who all this time was posed as his friend. And not only that, but he was kind of in love with him too. And he's he's intersex. He's a hermaphrodite or whatever. And I'm like, wow. I don't know what kind of drugs are you on, Go Nagai, but yeah, but just to give an example, Go Nagai is like the Frank Miller of manga, pretty much, but just 10 times crazier. Okay. I just made some tea, so I joined just in time. Classy, nice. Yeah, I got some soda over here, but it's about to be finished though. It's the music video. Talking about that. Crybaby was the only one I watched fully. Felt like Akira wasn't the main character, just the one narrating Lucifer's loop of eternal punishment and being dumb, too dumb to learn. I don't hate Akira and the Dome and Crybaby. It's just about the same almost with the manga and the OVA. I will definitely say that Nikki is a lot better, the girl and stuff. She's definitely a lot more better in my opinion. And Dome and Crybaby, where she kind of they kind of, because she's kind of like a little slow. She's kind of dumb in all the other versions and stuff. Besides maybe the OVA, I can't remember, but I don't think yeah, because in the manga and the '70s one, she's not really all there. But yeah, I think she's a lot more better written in the Dome and Crybaby thing, where they at least gave her a little bit, not more to do, but they gave her more of an interest. Like, oh, she's into track and field, she's very popular and stuff like that, and a very outgoing person. So I like that. Still tragic what happened. I was like, oh, I already was like, yeah. Even when I already knew about Don't Make Cry Baby, and I was like, I already know what's gonna happen. So I'm not even shocked by nothing. And then yeah, I already knew what happened. The only difference is, I guess, they showed me what happened with Doman, how he got cut in half, because in the manga, he just gets, they showed him cut in half or whatever, as he's already dead or whatever. But in the anime, they showed how, like, oh, Lucifer cut him in half or whatever. And that was, ooh, man, that was dark. That was dark. Devilman is like one of the most darkest animes I've probably ever seen. And the mangas I've read, I was like, oh my God. And the manga is definitely off some degenerate type stuff too. Oh, remember Happy Tree Friends, Fall Out Boys? I'm not gonna lie, the song "Minute" was edgy. Well, definitely collab again. Netflix Devil May Cry season 2 when released. If you're down, oh yeah, I'm definitely down. Um, I'm not sure when that's coming out though, but hopefully soon. Yeah. Oh god, it's gonna be crazy with that one. Um, Hopefully it'll be better. Um, I really want Dante to beat up Lady for that. I'm not gonna lie, all that crap she did in that last season, especially towards the end, because I was about to just let it slide until she like drugged Dante and then put him on ice. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? This wouldn't have happened. All this demon stuff or whatever wouldn't have happened, or the whole government military thing, whatever, wouldn't have happened if you didn't drug Dante and then, even though the government or military betrayed you, basically, but okay, or threw you to the wolves. But yeah, I like Akira. I just felt the whole thing was just witnessing Lucifer's stupidity. Probably was horny as nah, all of them are like that. To be honest, Steven. Like that's Gona guy. That's his style, bro. That's on brand. Like, trust me, I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, yeah, they have some weird stuff in there too, but bro, if you read the manga, it's definitely worse. It's worse with the weird degenerate stuff that be happening in the manga, bro. I knew the trailer came out, but I addressed that when more info comes out. Yeah, yeah, I saw the trailer too. I'm like, man, um, it's cool to see Nell Goldstein, and hey, Dante actually has his twin pistols now, his Evie and Ebony and Ivory. So that's pretty nice, and I love the hairstyle that he has. I mean, I actually do like the design of Dante from like season 1 and season 2, and I'm like, man, I kind of miss the season 1 look a little bit, but this season 2 look is pretty clean too. I'm like, oh wow, it looks really awesome. That female agenda, VS killed that show. Yeah, um, yeah, among other things, and just the bastardization of Christianity and all that stuff. Which I understand that's probably something that would probably sort of come up if you wanted to be grounded. But as hard as they were like just doing it, it was stupid. And then all that crap that they did with Lady was even stupider. But yeah, Netflix Don't Make Cry was worse. Yeah, I mean, Don't Make Cry Baby. It's not a bad show, but because it is, like I said, it's a little bit accurate to the manga. It's both the OVA and the Don't Make Cry Baby is definitely like just like the manga. It's all kind of the same. It's just a few differences or whatever, a few changes, but it's just like, oh man, it's just wild. Yeah, it's wild. Okay. Um, so if you're expecting a happy-go-lucky ending where the main character rides off into the sunset, this is not the show for you. Um, or if you have a weak stomach, it's definitely not for you, man. But yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, it has some dumb lore changes. Oh yeah, definitely that too. Especially like how they were trying to humanize the demons and all that stuff. Where I'm like, no, no, only rare, only some demons are allowed to have some compassion, but all that other stuff, yeah, no. But the female agenda was really killed it. It was insufferable. Yeah, it was mostly with I almost called her Mary. But it was definitely like that with Lady, where yeah, they definitely was forcing that on her. Where they were pushing her, oh, she can do all this to Dante, and I'm like, just stop it. Lady cannot do all this stuff to Dante, man. Stop. The first time Lady met Dante, Lady was pretty much outmatched. I mean, she can definitely handle herself against demons, but Lady, no, she's not. She cannot do all that to Dante, especially on no first encounter. I argue old Madhouse anime was better. It has some boring scenes, but at least it got the characterization right. Oh yeah, because which call it Netflix Devil May Cry. It's a loose take on Devil May Cry, where it's just taking aspects, or it's like a different. You can say like a different timeline or whatever. That's just how I see it, and yeah, obviously it is. Whereas the Madhouse anime is a part of the same timeline as the games and stuff. It is canon, and it takes place after Devil May Cry 1. Like, we already know that, but I'm just saying for the sake of saying it. So yeah, it is a lot more consistent, and yeah, the animation is beautiful in that one too. For something that came out back in like I think 2009. But yeah, it definitely does have some boring parts, and it definitely could have been better. and a little bit more flashier too. But yeah, some guy who ruined Castlevania, same guy who, yeah, it was he's going after Duke Nukem. Yeah, it's Adi Shankar and stuff. He's definitely gonna screw up those things. Well, he screwed up Castlevania and Don't Make Cry. I was like, man, Brown, emo, Andy Shankar that killed Apu. Yeah, from The Simpsons. I don't know. I didn't know he killed Apu, but I wouldn't be surprised if he complained about him and all that stuff. Yeah, that's Andy Shankar. He's a dumb hack. Yes, he is. That he has the nerve to complain. I mean, to compare, like to say, "Oh, I'm the creator of Devil May Cry." You wish. You're not the creator of Devil May Cry. You're the creator of the Netflix show. There's a difference. Okay, but yeah. But anyways, so in case you're wondering what I'm about to show you guys real quick before I get into all the drawing stuff or show you what I've been up to with Inktober. Well, actually, you know what? Let me show you what I've been up to with Inktober first. Or actually, no. I know I'm a little bit out of order here, but let me show you this. Real quick before I even, I'm gonna just ramble this real quick. Been reading this manga series, Clock Striker. It's a I can't even say American, but it's a non-Japanese manga stuff about this black girl named Cass and whatnot. And I'm pretty sure you guys might have seen this because I think the writer or the author or somebody had like put out something controversial by saying that this is the first black female shonen protagonist and stuff. And I think he just said it really to kind of get people to check out his his work and stuff because he was kind of just saying like, yeah, I mean, it is kind of a fact that this is my first, like, this, not my, but his, or not his, let me rephrase that. This is the first black female shonen protagonist and stuff. And he was saying that because he wants to get some eyes on his book and all that. But it's not a bad book. I actually I have the first two volumes. I've had it for about a year now, almost. And I finally got around to just reading it. And it's pretty good so far. I'm definitely going to read the rest of it, but I just want to put that out there. And whatnot. I actually did I'm kind of invested. Yeah. So that's what I've been like, checking out lately. Yeah. So just rambling that off real quick. I'm going to show you guys my Instagram. SSJ and Steven have definitely been seeing my work over on Instagram. I wouldn't shake his hand. Probably, dang, spit in his face. Yeah, I would definitely give him a dirty look and be like, "Oh, it's you." I don't know, man. Especially if he got on that white Dante wig. Can you imagine SSJ if he had that on and the Dante coat? I'm like, bro, get out of my face. That's how I picture him. Like when he has the little cosplay on and stuff, I'm like, get out of my face, bro. Is that the one that the Twitter had the meltdown about? Because of course this made them mad. Everything has a Twitter melt. Oh yeah. You're talking about Clock Striker. Yeah, that one did have a at one point. I think that was years ago though. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad if black male shonen protagonist. Yeah, it wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it either, of course. I mean, why couldn't, my bad, I misread that. Why couldn't it be a black male shonen protagonist? Shaking my head. I don't know. Just creativity, I guess. Or, I don't know, diversity. But it's not like woke or anything crazy like that. No, it's a solid read and stuff. And then it's not like beating you over the head with, oh, yeah, she's so much more better. Nah. And she's disabled as well and all because she's missing her hand or whatever. They're not beating you over the head with them. Just gotta just say that straight up. It's just a solid story. But that's just my guarantee though. Ironic, Andy went and made Demons and Don't Make Cry. Yeah, that was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. Yeah, he definitely did compare Demons to Arabs and Indians and Middle Eastern people and all that. Yeah, that was pretty stupid. Pretty stupid. Glad that is decent though. What? It's tiresome. Yeah, I don't blame you, SSJ. It is kind of tiresome, but I don't mind it though. Like I said, I mean, as long as you can give me a good story, I'm fine with it. As long as it's not agenda driven and stuff. And this isn't agenda. Like this I can't speak. This isn't agenda driven. she is just a solid character. No, oh, this character's white, this character's black, or whatever. No, it's just what they are. But they just put it out there because they just again wanted to put some eyes on their book and just call it out like it was a well, it's a fact that this is the first black female shonen protagonist, and there is no other example of that in the past. So I think where did I leave off last time? Okay, I think I left off here with Ninja Gaiden, where I said I posted this and this, but I never showed you guys. So because the creator of Ninja Gaiden had passed away, and there's Steven right there, cameo. Because he had passed away and whatnot, I drew Ryu Hayabusa with the little since this is an ornament and all that, where it's supposed to be like a decorative type of design. I decided, hey, why not do that for his headpiece for like Ryu, because I was desperate and I was trying to figure out what exactly should I draw, and I was like, all right, well, I guess Ryu has a little headpiece on his head. So yeah, this is originally what I was gonna post because I think it looked better like this, but then I thought, let me design it, and I was like, I'm a little, but maybe this is definitely for the better. How it finally turned out. And then this day 18 was Deal, so I drew Jetta Dome. And if you guys played Darkstalkers on like the Capcom fighting collection and stuff, yeah, Jetta Dome from Darkstalkers and stuff. He has this special where you play Darkstalkers in general. He has this special where he like grabs your soul and like he like hits you or whatever on like this spiritual contract thing, like you're making a deal with the devil or something like that. He's the final boss inside Darkstalkers 3, so that's pretty cool. I liked how I made the because I use my black markers and stuff, watercolor markers, and it definitely looks like blood and like a smudge or whatever. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And then this is Oyuki from Yorose Yasasura, another work by Rumiko Takahashi. It was Arctic, so I decided, why not draw her? I've been wanting to draw Lum for Inktober, but I don't really know how I can really fit her in, so I drew her friend Oyuki. There's Kotaku Neko and stuff, this big cat that's been alive for 100 years that just likes to be under kotakus and stuff, which is like a warm type of bed or something like that, or table in Japan. So that's pretty cool. Then this was day 20, which is Rival. And what better rivalry could I have thought of, which is, Yugi and Kaiba. Because I've been watching Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds and stuff, and I'm like, well, obviously Yugi and Kaiba aren't in that, but I figured, you know what, why not go classic and just draw Yugi and Kaiba. So I drew them, rivals and stuff. This is their looks from Dark Side Dimension and whatnot. You got little Yugi, and then you got Kaiba here. So yeah. This day 21 was Blast, and immediately I thought to, why not Bakugo from My Hero Academia? So I drew Bakugo. This is really cool looking and stuff. So I got him using his hands and stuff, kind of like the explosive stuff or whatever, or looking like it's causing a blast or explosion. So there's that. I was being a little bit complicated on this one, so I was trying to figure out what exactly could I do for Button for day 22. So then I thought, okay, why not try to make so Button, right? Why not try to do this whole thing where it's like, okay, this is the command, because let me take it back. So if you guys know like Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, this is Andy Bogard, right? Andy, or if you guys know who Terry Bogard is the main character of Fatal Fury, and he's in King of Fighters as well. And of course, he's recently inside Street Fighter 6. I'm pretty sure you all know who Mai Shiranui is if you know SNK. Well, Mai is actually sort of Andy's girlfriend and stuff inside the Fatal Fury series and King of Fighters stuff. And Terry and Andy is Terry's younger brother and stuff, right? And when they had vowed to get revenge on Geese Howard, Andy decided to go train with Mai's family to learn ninjutsu. So he trained with Mai's grandpa, became a ninja, and all this other stuff. So I thought, you know what, let me do this command thing, because Andy is a very underrated character that doesn't get utilized a lot. So this is a scene from the second Fatal Fury OVA and all that. I thought this was pretty cool because Andy's my main when it comes to like Fatal Fury stuff. I like using his attacks and all that. Like Terry's good, but I like using Andy better though. So this is his little rush attack. So he's attacking Lawrence Blood. He's a sub boss for the second Fatal Fury game. But yeah, and this is a little bit complicated. But well, I overcomplicated it a little bit. But I was like, you know what, might as well. But day 23 yesterday, Firefly. So I just drew some fireflies and I drew this like forest and all that stuff. I just found something on Pinterest because I was like, well, why not just do this? So this is how it turned out. Looks pretty awesome. I was a little bit iffy on the moon because I wanted to make it look like the moon. I was trying to add shadows, but I made it too dark, and I was like, oh crap. But it looks pretty cool though, and the trees and everything. So yeah. And then this is my post for today. You can see Steven right here. We're rowdy, and I was like, why not draw Inosuke from Demon Slayer? That's probably like a very rowdy character just doing something random. Yeah, Inosuke is hilarious inside Demon Slayer. I like that character. But anyways, but that's Inktober. And that's what I wanted to share. What's happening, Dr. Hino? How's it going? Ooh, SSJ, I see your comment. I'm gonna definitely get to that one in a second. Andy the Brown Savior to Demons. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah. That's we got a disabled female avatar coming too. I'll pass on that nonsense. Agreed. Agreed. I mean, since it's Avatar, I don't know. With Seven Havens, I might have to sort of check it out, even though I don't want to. I really, SSJ, you have no clue how much I really want that show canceled so bad. I'm like, I really want that show canceled because I told you guys before, I'm a fan of Legends of Korra. I actually like Legends of Korra. I think it's a decent series and stuff. And to a degree, I might even like it a little bit better than Last Airbender. I know, hot take. But, and I actually like Korra too. I think she's a pretty cool character and all that stuff. But if they say that, oh, Korra really is the cause of all that stuff that happened inside Seven Havens where she screwed up the world and all that stuff, oh my God, that's going to destroy Korra's character. I hope that if they do go through with the show, I really do hope that they just say that, oh, look, it was a misunderstanding. Korra, maybe it's like, oh, they blame her for something or whatever. I don't know. I hope that's the case. That's just my opinion. I hope that's the case. But if not, I really do hope the show gets canceled. That's how I personally feel. Yes, it is stupid that they made the new Avatar a black disabled female character. I know I just praised Cass from Clock Striker on that one, which, yeah, she's a great character and she's well written. This character, though, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. We just got done having a female Avatar that's brown. Why do we have another one? Like we need another, like we need a new Zuko. We need a new Sokka. We need a new, like that type of character, to like, we need a new boy. I mean, you guys should have probably taken that Avatar Genji concept and just made it into like, and retooled it. And just made it like, oh, just buy it off that guy that made Avatar Genji because people like that stuff, and then just put it into like what you call it, or just I don't know, but yeah, how's it going, Dr. Hino? Nice, you have really putting out fire for Inktober. I need to start going again. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm glad I'm inspiring you. But yeah, it's not super time consuming because all you have to really do is just draw something, but it's just like the creativity part, that's where it comes in, and just like figuring out when is the right time to draw it and when not the right time. But yeah, sub Dr. Hino, Jetta Dome from Darkstalkers. Yep. I didn't like Korra, but that's a whole combo for another day. It is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I understand like people don't like Korra, and usually I feel like a lot of people base Korra from like season 2. Because, and don't get me wrong, Korra was definitely terrible inside season 2. Like as a character and the quality of the show, I understand, and that was a dropping point off for most people. But I feel like it got better inside season 3, and I think Korra definitely like grew over time as a character. Like season 1, she's okay. I like her. I mean, I like her introduction and all that other stuff. She seems likable. Then season 2 came in, and that's where she got all cocky and arrogant and stuff, and got all, yeah, I get it. And that's where I was like, oh, great. But season 3 and 4, I think she's much more better or more improved. Still think it would have been a better show than Korra. I'm not really sure which. Oh, you're talking about the Seven Havens? I doubt it. For me, I want to see Seven Havens show. I guess Korra caused Spirits Apocalypse or the end of the world. or Children of Man level. I gave up Korra after season 2. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like a lot of people did because, like I said, I mean, Korra was presented unlikable and she was presented to be this type of way. And then, like I said, the quality of the show kind of went down. Although there are certain aspects about season 2 that I actually do kind of like Tenzin and stuff and his family stuff. I actually did enjoy those episodes. Well, that B plot at least, it's a B plot. It's like, yeah, that's my takeaway from it. And the Avatar 1 story, I thought that was pretty cool. But all the other stuff, maybe they're doing a little bit too much, you know? But that's how I feel. Anyways, that's what I've been doing for Inktober. Now I'm about to show you guys Fighter's Den. So let me explain this guy really quick. So Fighter's Den is a YouTuber that I'm subscribed to. He's really cool. Well, I've never really interacted with him, but I'm saying like I enjoy watching his content and stuff and hearing him just monologue like. They're like, have you ever seen a picture of what this guy looks like? I'm like, no. Like, out of curiosity, we want to know what he looks like or whatever. But he doesn't really do social media like that. The only thing he really has like that is really just YouTube, and that's really about it. But he likes to put videos up. He has 2 YouTube channels. One is the Wrestler's Den, and one is the Fighter's Den. But he likes to do videos talking about wrestling and talking about fighting games and stuff, and talking about the complicated lore. So if you guys are looking for like complicated lore of fighting games, like especially Mortal Kombat, he's the guy. He's definitely your guy. Fourth Snake also is another guy that I also like to listen to as well when it comes to like Mortal Kombat content. But yeah, but Fighter's Den, I enjoy just watching his videos. You can just put it on and just easily just enjoy it. Korra grew up in season 3. I mean, she got exiled from Republic City. She didn't just run away. She got exiled. But at least it gave us a chance to kind of get out there and explore the world. So we got to see like Ba Sing Se and all that stuff or whatever. And on top of that, because she left the portals open, I mean, something that a lot of people don't bring up is that because she left the spirit portals open, it created a balance to kind of bring back the airbenders, or it gifted everybody with their airbendings. So while there is bad in that and leaving the portals open, there definitely was good that also came out of that, but people don't want to talk about that. But anyways, let me show you guys Fighter's Den real quick. So this is his channel. I'm going to probably play some of his videos. I might even do more streams where I like just commentate on his videos and stuff. But yeah, but he's a cool dude and stuff. He is hilarious and stuff. Oh yeah, of course, he does Tekken, Street Fighter. There was a video that I had in mind that I was going to watch from him. But yeah, and then sometimes I guess I try to incorporate some of my own stuff into like, well, how he goes about his videos into like my own videos, because like I said, how he just talks is just hilarious. And I'm not saying in a funny way, but just in like, man, I can just listen to this guy all day and not even complain about it. The absolute worst. No, this is it right here. All right. I hope you guys are ready.
If you're an illegal alien, this runway is your future, because you're headed home.
It's a weird
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security.
No, that's a.
If you download the CBP.
Oh yeah, never mind. That's probably when he was training with Jiraiya at the bathhouse. Virtual fighters. The crazy thing is I actually do own a Virtual Fighters game, but since I was stupid enough to believe that it was on PS1 and I didn't even check to see that it was on the Sega Dreamcast, I bought it thinking it was on the PS1. I'm like, oh god. So I have Virtual Fighters, a game of Virtual Fighters, but I don't have a Sega Dreamcast to play it on. that's the irony. But I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get a Sega Dreamcast eventually. I mean, I do know a place, but yeah. But let's continue. It's almost like 10 years old.
Okay, let's start off with Virtual Fighter 2. Now, Virtual Fighter is basically a game strictly about fighting. To be honest, they don't really give a shit about the characters or character development. And this is clear to be seen in the endings. Put the game on hard and it is a task to complete. And when you complete the game, you're greeted with absolutely nothing. Just a replay of the fights you already just did. Not even a picture, not even some text to tell you if your character progressed or what happened to them. Absolutely nothing. Waste of time.
Game over.
That does sound
Jax
nice.
MK4. Now you knew this shit had to be here. This is so bad it is now legendary and now comedy. So many things wrong with this scene. Just so many.
I'm not gonna lie, I do have an affinity for liking. So Mortal Kombat 4. I've never played Mortal Kombat 4, but I've seen all the endings when I was younger and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, even though I know the voice acting isn't like, it's superb or the animation and stuff. I kind of appreciate it though. I like the PS1 style and stuff, and I do like the effort that they just put into it though. Doesn't make this ending better, but I'm just saying in general, Mortal Kombat 4 was there. The ending is all I know about that one. Yeah.
For one, Jarek is garbage. Sonya should not be backpedaling from Jarek. She's stronger than him. Epic fail right there. That's right, go to the edge of the cliff and put your life in danger.
I think they had red as Sonya's default color inside Mortal Kombat 4, even though Sonya usually is associated with green. But that's neither here nor there.
The Black Dragon died with Kano. You're the last one, Jarek.
Clearly falls off, went too far off the cliff to hold on to anything. Epic fail. Appears out of nowhere and
there's 3 different endings for Mortal Kombat 4 when it came to this one. So there's Sonya's ending where Jarek actually does fall off the cliff and doesn't actually where he actually does fall off the cliff and doesn't catch the little thing or whatever and doesn't throw Sonya off, and Sonya just has an extended conversation with Jax. Then the other one is Jarek's ending where he just throws Sonya off the cliff after he had red off and he walks off. And then there's Jax's ending where Jax actually catches Jarek not catches Jarek, but after Jarek threw off Sonya from the cliff or whatever, Jax decides to just drop Jarek off the cliff and stuff to avenge his partner. So it's a whole thing. It does seem like a waste of time though, to be honest. But yeah, to just animate that and be like, oh yeah, that's the ending for these characters. That's their character arc. That's the conclusion to their story. But okay. But yeah, so yeah, that makes sense.
you can clearly see there was nothing for Jarek to hold on to. He jumped off too far. He should have died. And of course, Jax was there the entire time watching everything, eating popcorn.
And the thing is, he destroyed the radio and stuff and clearly overheard Sonya talking to Jax on the radio. So it's and Jarek is surprised that Jax is alive. And it's so you're surprised? I don't know. F's for, oh yeah.
My partner you just tossed off the cliff.
At no point in time does Jarek realize he has arms. Grab Jax's arms. You're being held off a cliff, you moron.
It's hilarious.
No attempt to save his own life.
Wait, this is brutality. You can't do it. Wrong, Jarek. This is not a brutality. This is a fatality.
Come on. You gotta admit that line was kind of badass though.
Fan service. I see what you did there, Jax. Kind of corny, but it's
It is.
bars, right?
The stage fatality. Charlie Nash.
Charlie Nash, Street Fighter Alpha 2. Now, we were first introduced to Guile. So when we saw Charlie, we figured, oh, this guy is a knockoff, he's a cheap version of Guile. Come to find out, Charlie was stronger, better, and he was the one who trained Guile. Okay, cool. Let's complete the game with Charlie. You complete the game with Charlie, and you are greeted with Charlie getting his ass killed in dramatic fashion. Charlie makes his epic, long-awaited return to Street Fighter.
I mean, it makes sense because I mean that is Guile's motivation. But what happened to Charlie inside Street Fighter V? Yeah. Now that was actually kind of pointless that they brought him back just to have him just die again like this.
5, only to be a punching bag and is killed again. Wow. Capcom screwing Charlie worse than Vince McMahon screwed Bret Hart.
Look, he won't be his wrestling references. Reptile.
Number 2, Reptile, MK4. Now look, a lot of people got screwed in their endings in MK4, but my man Reptile, he got that shit the worst. And you're left thinking to yourself, why did I even bother completing the game with this character? Huh? I know the guy's a jobber and all, but what a shitty ending.
Quan Chi, I have served our Lord Shinnok well in the district.
You just gotta love Reptile though, because he's not really that bad of a guy or whatever. To be honest, but it's just like, man, yeah. I mean, I know he's always usually working for the bad guys, and he does do some bad things, but you just gotta feel for the guy because he is the last of his race, and he just wants to just do whatever it takes to kind of be reunited with his people. And then it's just, he gets screwed over like this, when clearly he does something good or tries to do something. Then yeah. So at least with MK1, they actually made Reptile a good guy and all that stuff, and he teamed up with the heroes and actually definitely has some wins because a lot of these characters, since how these fighting games are structured, they're just kind of used as like cannon fodder sometimes to be a punching bag for the heroes to look better by comparison, or for the character that's pickable in that moment.
Destruction of Earth's warriors.
Yes, we are most appreciative of your efforts.
Now I wish to return in time to my home world before it was destroyed at the hands of Shao
Oh, this guy just wanted his people back.
Supreme of all.
And by the way, this is probably one of the first times that they started to kind of experiment with Reptile's look. So like first there's MK1, 2, and 3, where and yeah, Reptile is actually an MK1. Reptile was actually the first ever secret character in fighting games. But yeah. And then yeah, like there's like a little secret or whatever that you can do to kind of get him. But in story, they kind of just said that Reptile is a bodyguard of Shang Tsung, and that he was keeping an eye from a distance over everybody, over the over the tournament and all that stuff. So yeah, there was that. And then MK2, he's officially in the game, and there's MK3. So basically, he has a more humanoid appearance. He's basically like a green color palette swapped of Sub-Zero and Scorpion from those first 3 games. Then we go into Mortal Kombat 4, which is this game here, where they kind of changed Reptile's look because I guess, as these games evolve over time, they're able to like add more details and stuff to it, because Mortal Kombat, especially like the first 3 games, they like to go for a more of a realistic approach. And that's kind of what they do now, like trying to make the games look more realistic as possible to make it look a lot more bloodier and gorier and so on and so forth. But this is where they were able to get a little bit more experimental. Not a perfect design, but it's not half bad, I guess. A lot of people hated Deadly Alliance's design, where he just looked like a straight-up lizard. But I actually like that design. That's probably one of my favorite designs of Reptile. I was like, no, I actually think it's kind of cool. I mean, it's weird, but I think it's cool. And then they kind of explained it, but I'm not going to go into detail right now about that because we're reacting to this video and I got other stuff to talk about. But yeah.
reality. Shinnok alone has the power to grant me this wish.
You dare make such an impetuous request from your lord and master?
It is a simple request for one of such great power.
It is also not worth his attention.
Wow.
I demand it. If it were not for warriors such as myself,
Tell him, Reptile.
his attack against Raiden's forces would have failed.
Perhaps you can convey your feelings to Shinnok himself.
What?
Infidel! You are in no position to demand anything. I could kill you with a mere thought.
We had a deal.
We had a deal.
A deal? I am not a god of my word, Reptile.
All deals are off.
All deals are off.
Wow. My bad, Reptile. I should have never tried to complete the game.
And it is non-canon, but it does kind of just suck now. I'm like, wow, you played through all of that, all those matches and all those things just to have your character killed off like that. That is just terrible, man. It's sad. But I used to kind of think that there's two different sort of endings for like Mortal Kombat. So like, of course, you know, there's the bad guys' endings where some of it seemed like a dark ending for the heroes and stuff like that. I think that's sort of like one separate timeline, or well, let's not talk about timelines with Mortal Kombat, but that's a separate story and stuff that might be aligned with each other. Where okay, the bad guys all won, and these are all their endings of what happens to them and stuff, even if it is like non-consequential. But yeah, let's continue.
In with you.
Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance.
Number 1. Scorpion, Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. And the reason this is number 1 is because I never forgot this shit. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance was a strange game. You start the game with the hero being killed off, Shao Kahn being supposedly killed off, everyone just dropping like flies. You have Raiden narrating the shit, trying to make everything sound as terrifying as possible. So you're starting the game with this uneasy feeling. You get to the roster, you're now looking around. Who's the new star? Who's gonna step up to the plate? Maybe Scorpion. Maybe it's his time to shine. Let's go with Scorpion. He can stop the Deadly Alliance. Progressing through the game, performing all the combos, doing all the fatalities, killing it, and you get to the ending and...
The hunt for Quan Chi had led Scorpion to the palace of Shang Tsung.
Get him.
He was discovered by the two Oni he had previously encountered while in the Netherrealm. Scorpion fought well, but was overpowered by...
You got to admit, the voice acting and the narration really sounds great. But yeah, that does kind of suck for Scorpion, though. Dude gets stopped by the sub bosses of the game and then gets thrown into like a Soulnado and then gets his soul ripped apart. But, and this is actually canon too. This actually did happen inside Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, even though I know some of the endings are non-canon. That actually did happen inside the transition to Deadly Alliance to Deception. But it's not all doom and gloom, because that led Scorpion up into heaven with the Elder Gods, where they basically saved Scorpion and decided to make him their champion. But that's a story for another day.
Moloch and Draman,
Hold up. What?
but was overpowered by Moloch and Draman.
Sorry, who?
Moloch and Draman.
That's bullshit.
Although they could not consume the Ninja Spectre, they devised another means for eliminating their foe that would satisfy their cruel natures. They hurled him into the Soulnado, and his hellspawn body was ripped apart by the purity of that realm.
Wow. First of all, screw you and thanks for wasting my time. Shittiest ending ever.
But yeah, but that's him. And then let me show you guys the recent one, since we were on the subject of Jarek. His recent video, well, not that recent, but because this was hilarious too. I'm gonna play it real quick, and then I'm gonna just like keep it moving. You know what? I'll probably just cut to the funnier part, and then I'm gonna just keep it moving with this video and show you guys what I'm up to.
Yeah, this one shouldn't be too long because today we're talking about one of
Maybe I might show you guys the full video some other day. But yeah.
now actually one of the best versions
He also loves his Resident Evil music as well.
of Jericho
And don't get me wrong, I love Resident Evil music as well.
is the prequel MK4 comics telling
the
you what
video.
happened to Jericho
Check it out.
before he came into the game. Okay? Was a big criminal. They were obviously after him. And you see here, Sonya tried to arrest Jericho, and guess what? He beat Sonya's ass. Wait, what? Yes. Dropped Sonya and drove away on a bike, so he was obviously giving them trouble. Jericho was with the shits in the prequel comics. However, there turns out there was a different comic, a Brazilian MK4 comic
Here goes the bombshell.
from Trauma. And in this comic, it shows Jericho being with the shits as well. He was able
Even though this art style is very messy or sloppy, I'm not gonna lie, I just gotta appreciate it. And you better
to
understand.
drop Jax on his ass, wash
Sonya got her little Sailor Moon hair.
fodder. So this is obviously one of the best versions of Jericho, right? And probably the absolute worst version of Jericho. And all I can say is, oh dear, oh dear. Not for the faint of hearted, people. So obviously Sonya and Jax are chasing down Jericho. Jax drops Jericho. Jericho says no. And plays possum and says no brutality.
You better do what my partner told you to do, bro.
No police brutality, get it? Remember that ending? Right. So it was a trick. He gets up and punches Jax in the face and drops him on his ass. Let's go, Jericho. But what did Jericho say when he dropped Jax?
Anyone want to take a wild guess what Jarek said?
Sure thing, ninja.
Dang.
And everyone's thinking, what the hell? Is this a joke? This must be some fake comic. Oh, it's real.
You know how they do have those skins online and stuff where like the comic gets edited with the dialogue and all that stuff, and they're like, wait, what? That can't be real. Yeah, no,
It's damn real.
that's pretty wild.
Now wait a minute. It's just a joke, right? It's used as an endearing term these days. People say it in rap. Maybe Jarek's got a couple of black friends. Jarek's invited
As an endearing term. It's just said for a little banter. Maybe Jarek got a couple of black friends. Maybe he's invited to the cookout.
to the cookout, right? This is nothing to do with skin color or racism. It's just empty banter. They couldn't be pushing that shit in the comics, right? Jarek follows up by saying, catch you later, darky.
You gotta miss the 90s with stuff like this.
I'll
Catch you later,
see
darky.
you around. Catch you later, darky. Oh my god. Now look, I don't know if this writer drank a whole bottle of vodka raw or was sniffing coke or something before he wrote this, but I'm guessing the idea is that Jericho's such a goofball. This guy thought the only way to jazz him up, spice up the character is, I don't know, make him a full-blown racist? I don't know,
Full-blown racist.
trying to make the comic more edgy so maybe you could sell more copies, but that didn't work because all 20 people who bought it still think Jericho was a goofball. But wait, there's even more.
Uh-oh.
Now, just like in the games, when Jericho joined the good guys and the good guys won, Jericho turned on Sonya and attacked her from behind. And good God Almighty, look at the stuff he's saying. Look at this imagery. And you got these people now, oh, we want to see more tits and ass, we want to see more skin. This comic is for you, gooners.
Yep.
I mean, this is what
Listen
you
out.
want, right? Sonya basically calls Jericho an idiot. And then Jericho turns around and calls her an idiot because she was going to arrest him anyway, and then proceeds to tell Sonya.
And with my style and everything, man, I'm like, this is the type of things I would probably be wanting to put in my stories.
You
Low-key.
play nice.
I'm like, yes, this is how you get people on board to it.
I might even let you live as my personal slave. You dig?
I don't even know what they were doing with Jarek's face here in this panel.
As Sonya stands there with her mouth bleeding and her melons hanging out and the gooners dribbling, Jarek then follows up and says,
But I like this design. Of course.
and cake. Bro, what? So now you're telling me Jarek is not only a racist, he's now an artist? Hey yo, whose writer is this? Buddies out here having Jarek crashing out crazy. Johnny Cage comes in to make the save, causes a distraction for Sonya to get the advantage, and one shot Jarek putting an end to this complete psychopath. And that was pretty much it. At the start of the video, I asked y'all a question. I guess I'm gonna have to ask y'all again. Whose man is this? Who dares claim it?
Stuff. And some very concerning music.
With a brand new design that frees up.
All right, well, that's enough about that. All right, that's pretty much most of the stuff I wanted to show you guys. Like I said, this is a sort of a draw stream, so I will do a little bit of that. It's 11:19 right now, so it's not 12 yet, so that's nice. All right, let me show you guys what I've been working on. I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. Again, I know I had a lot to drink today. I did a lot of driving around, as I said earlier, so it was a lot. Okay. Okay, I am back. Hopefully that did not take long. All right, as promised, let me show you guys what I'm working on. If I turn on the heater, it is 47 degrees. It says on my computer, but it's, well, it should be warmer in here, obviously. But yeah. All right, so let me show you guys what I've been doing. Well, not doing recently. Well, it's sort of recent, but I'm gonna just explain it in a second. You know, this doesn't always take a second. Huh. It's weird. So I can't bring up my. Can I? Okay, so I guess you guys can sort of see it. So, yeah, I know. It must be Superman Mania, apparently. So this is my recent animation that I've been working on and stuff. I actually started this last month. Actually, let me check the date of when because originally I drew these as I did some sketches first. Okay. Oh wow, funny. Approximately a month ago when I drew. Well, when I drew this. Well, I hand draw it. Like I can't speak. I hand drew it first, and then I used digital painting to like trace over it, and this is what I got. Um, and this is how I usually animate my videos and stuff when I make the animations. This is Adobe Animate. So as you can see, this is Clark Kent right here. I always like giving Clark Kent the little mullet and all that stuff from the '90s. I know it's not exactly look like that, but I personally like it. So this is him like taking off his shirt and just full on just doing this. And I'm going to probably do more later. Well, not later, but my drawings and stuff. What I'm talking about, I might add some more stuff. Like I'll probably put a background and stuff like this in the background. Like maybe he's in a janitor's closet or something like that, and he's just like getting changed. And then another scene. It's not going to be a long video, to be honest, but I've been putting it off for a while. But these are some of the PNG stuff that not hand drew, but I digitally drew or traced over. This is what I put together so far. Originally, I was also going to have him like, oh, he's taking off his pants too, to like, to kind of make it, yeah. But I feel like this flows a little bit more better. And then I was going to do this like, oh, the Man of Steel thing where he like does like like where he's like on the ground first and then he like launches up and flies. But maybe I'll probably put that in another scene. Maybe that could be a superhero landing probably. And this is just him flying, as you can see. So yeah, that's what I've been working on so far. So let's get back to this. And then I'm gonna probably just do a little Adobe Animate. So let's get to that. I mean, I just said Adobe Animate. I mean, let me get to Clip Studios and just trace over my drawings and stuff. Oh, duh, it was right there. Oh, well. All right, so I'm going to trace over this. I might mute myself and just keep things quiet, so this isn't going to be really loud or anything per se. So if you guys have anything to say, I'll probably check the comments, maybe on my phone, and respond to them accordingly. But yeah, so just watch me trace over some of this stuff. All right, so enjoy. Oh, wait, I'm not even screen sharing. Aren't I? Well, that would have been awkward. All right, that's better. All right, let's get to it. All right, I am back. Sorry, guys. I know it's a drawn stream, so there's not really much I can say or keep you guys entertained besides just, with the immersion of my artwork and all that stuff. So that's what I had going. But yeah, as you see, I was drawing the janitorial equipment. So stuff like I was drawing a mop, I was drawing a wet floor sign, a bucket of water, a light bulb, because I was planning on. And by the way, this is something. Yeah, I was thinking about drawing, like tracing over this, but maybe another time. I'll probably just do it when I'm not live streaming, and stuff, since it's kind of getting a little late, anyways. But I'm gonna just show you guys what I plan to do with those materials. So let me stop screen sharing. Go right here. Now you create another layer. And then, of course, this is like basically your frames and all that stuff. Where do I want place to take place at? This is one whole scene right here, but you can always just blank out that whole thing right now. Oh, wait. Wait a minute. Yeah, I'm showing it. Okay, I thought I was tripping. All right, let me continue. I saved some of the stuff in a folder, so. Sometimes you gotta save this stuff to a library, like to the library. This is the library right here. Because you can always have it go to the stage and it'll automatically go to the library. But I like to just put it, in the library first before I make up my mind where I exactly do I want it to put it. So, bucket of water, light bulb, and the mop. It would have been easier if I just numbered it or something, but oh well. It's not important. Wet floor sign. And then you just assemble it all together. And just figure out what placement do you just want to put it at. Of course, I have to shrink some of this stuff down. Oh, God. All right, now let's see how this looks while Clark Kent here is in the background. Oof. And then, of course, you can always just swap like that. And let's see what we can do right here with this. Of course, I'm going to have to add more for the background, but what do you guys think? Oh, yeah, you can't see that yet. Yep, that's the tab. I might just shift some stuff to the side. Obviously, you can't see all of the full details here. But, yeah, But yeah, just add maybe like a door or something like that, or a room closet, a shelf or something, and you have yourself a little bit of a background. All right. But anyways, that's just an example that I wanted to show you guys. And what do I have so far with what my next animation is looking like. I'll definitely put up some of the stuff on my Kubi Charmer account, and then when I'm finished with the entirety of it, I'll put it on my regular account and the Kubi Charmer account. So stay tuned. But anyways, thanks guys for watching. I know it was a little bit boring with the whole watching me draw thing, but but also it's kind of cool, just to like get caught up and show you guys my like creativity and my just oh wow, maybe that's an interesting way of how to draw this or do that. But yeah, and then of course just share you guys my day, and then Instagram and Inktober and all that stuff. I definitely appreciate the support and whatnot, and how you guys like my videos and like to hear me talk and all that, or check out my passions, like my passion projects and stuff like that. What else do I wanted to talk about, or did I bring up? Yeah, of course, like I said, talk about the comics and stuff. Talk about my possible video ideas that's coming up. We talked about Double Man, Devil May Cry, and all that stuff. I know I was revisiting some parts of the stream actually while I had my microphone on mute. I talked a little bit about Avatar, even though I'm kind of tired of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and the Legends of Korra, like the whole franchise in general. But it was pretty. This is a pretty productive or a pretty interesting conversation. Definitely looking forward to some collabs with guys like SSJ and so on. Again, I was supposed to be doing a collab last week, but my person canceled. So I'll try to see if I can get her to come back next time. And I might, and if I didn't bring this up before, I might invite some more guests on board. So stay tuned for that one. But anyways, this is the Joe Fox, and about peace, and until we meet again, peace out, everybody.